Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is going to do One Piece episode 547 review. Now, for this episode of One Piece, in my opinion, it was flatline good. It was from the beginning to the end. It was, we have the comedy scenes with Sanji and Frankie. Frankie's funny. Frankie's very funny. At the same time, we have the very serious and sad scenes with the funeral of Queen Otohime, with King Neptune, how he trapped himself inside the tower because of his rage, because of his anger and sorrow, and like it's very serious scenes. And even at the end, when the re-return of Tory Jones into the present scheme, how he has this plan, and Hachi kind of knows the plan. He's not too sure, but we see the difference between Tory Jones and Arlong at the end of the actual episode. That being said, key points, alright? Number one is going to be Tory Jones. In the past, we see him kill the human, and he showcases the human to the entire plaza. Despite Jinbei's protest, he showcases the human to everyone in the plaza. Like, this is the assassin. This is the man who killed Queen Otohime. And he's solely there just to widen the gap, or widen the division between humans and Fishman, whereas opposed to Otohime, she was there to strengthen that bond, to lessen the gap. However, since she died by a human, it's like the biggest insult to all of her work and what she struggled for. And we see that Tory Jones is taking full advantage of that. Now, number two is going to be King Neptune. And King Neptune is infuriated. He traps himself inside the hard shell tower because he is so infuriated about what happened to his wife. And at the same time, he is very sorrowful because he understands that as a leader, he is not at liberty to go out there and kill people on whims. He wants to support Otohime's decision for strengthening the gap between humans and Fishman. However, his anger is overcoming that. When he was a soldier, he mentions how he used to kill the humans who killed his own friends, take revenge on his own friends. And he feels that he doesn't have the right to do so. And he's sitting in his hard shell tower, conflicted, angry, sad, crying. And I mean, it's like you can just feel the emotions coming out of King Neptune, like you really can. Key point number three is going to be the funeral in of itself, where the funeral, there's a lot of people. I'm going to say maybe all of Fishman Island were in the underwater garden, and basically they are mourning the loss of Queen Otohime. However, the princes and Prince Shirahoshi, who are not allowed to go to the funeral because of Von der Decker's letters to Shirahoshi, they decide to put a monitor on the bubble. And when the monitor's there, Fukaboshi speaks about the gathering of the kingdoms. I believe it's called the World Court. I'm not too sure on that one. But basically, he's saying how our wounds are so deep where we may not be able to participate in the World Courts in 2 years or 6 years or 10 years. However, once our wounds heal, then we can actually, once our wounds heal, then we will be able to participate once again in the World Court. And then he speaks about and then he mentions two things. The last words of Queen Otohime, and he talks about how they're going to take all the signatures and start anew. They're going to burn, or they're going to get rid of all the signatures that survived the fire, and then they're going to start anew in order to help the bond, in order to help the strengthening of the bond between humans and Fishman. And it's going to be a slow, steady process, and he wants the citizens of Fishman Island to bear that burden with him, along with the other princes and Princess Shirahoshi. That's number three. Number four is going to be the re-return to the present, and Jinbei conflicting with Sanji and Nami. And basically, Sanji wants Jinbei to cut his own belly because this doesn't justify the fact that Arlong went in there and eradicated, or he kind of eradicated like an entire island, and he killed Nami's foster mother. He enslaved their island and so on and so forth. Like you guys know, yeah, you guys know the drill. And basically, Nami's like, no, It's okay. I understand. It wasn't you who did that. It was Allah. I'm not mad at you because you're a Fishman. I'm mad at Allah, okay? And at the same time, she mentions how some good did come from this. A lot of good came from it because she's happy now. Now she's with the Straw Hat crew. Now she can go on her journey, and now she can fulfill her dream. And Jinbei is, you know, he's crying, he's tearing up because he never expected Nami, a woman who was enslaved by his best friend Arlong, in order to forgive him for that reason. And, you know, so he's crying and bawling. Frankie's crying and bawling. Frankie's like, eh, I'll do it. I was like, oh, Frankie's a bundle of laughs, man. And at the same time, we see Luffy. Like, there's one scene where Luffy's just swaying. He's just swaying, fall, just straight fall. And it was like, what the hell's going on? And Luffy is apparently asleep. And of course, you know, the thing here is that Sanji's mad as hell. Nami's smiling, like she's like, yeah, I knew he was asleep, you know, and all that kind of shit. And, you know, honestly, people complain about that a lot. Like, oh, he was asleep and when? Like, no. Him being awake is out of character. It's like, that to me doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, Luffy never cared about racism. He never cared about this kind of shit. He was never one to have a long attention span, unless it involved One Piece, or Goldie Roger, or Yoko, like Shanks, you know? So he never really cared about that kind of situation, because it never really affected him. So if Luffy, who isn't the brightest guy in the world, was awake during an entire flashback of Jinbei and explaining to him about the racial tension between Fishmen and humans on Fishman Island, that'll cut me out of character. I'll be shocked. I'll be like, what the hell? You're actually awake? No, no, no. It makes more sense for him to be asleep than awake. And at the same time, we have 3 other main characters who give a shit. Frankie's right there, as is Sanji, as is Nami. Chopper too. So we have 4 main characters listening in. I mean, you could easily argue that Robin doesn't give a shit since Robin is there, but she's not listening in. She's somewhere else doing like doing poneglyph shit. So when people complain about, well, you know, like, no, shut up, just shut up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. It makes sense that he was asleep. It makes a lot of sense. Completely in character. All right. We have 4 main characters right there who are listening in. I'm just saying. That's number. What number is that? 4? Yeah, number 4, right? And number 5 is going to be the re-return of Tory Jones into the main spectra of the story, where there's this giant video Dendenmushi, and it comes in and it makes a video projection of Tory Jones, and Tory Jones is there. And basically, he's announcing himself to everyone on Fishman Island. I am the leader of the new Fishman Pirates, Tory Jones. And then before that, Hachi explains how Tory Jones is different from Arlong, in the sense that Tory Jones has no qualms about killing or hurting other fishermen. If you are a fisherman and then you support humans, then you are a target of Tory Jones. Whereas Arlong would never want to hurt his own fisherman brethren, okay? And also, how Tory Jones is one of his main objectives is to destroy the signatures, because this year there's going to be a summoning of the world courts of the world kingdoms, and King Neptune is going to go there with the signatures alongside the signature of the world noble, and they're going to make a statement that they want to live above the surface. And Tory Jones wants to ruin those chances. And that's the end of the actual episode. So in my opinion, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it from the beginning to end. We are progressing. In my opinion, the flashback, I thought was good. I don't care what anyone says. I thought it was very good. Very, 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 very emotional scenes. I mean, like, there were some scenes where they really were heart-wrenching, especially Tiger's death, Orohime's death, and we see, and it really does hit you heavy. It really does hit you heavy, because especially last week when the princes were dancing and trying to trip Shirahoshi as their mother is dying, it's like, whoa, you know. So it really does hit you hard. But that being said, in my opinion, good episode. King of Lightning. Rate, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a nice day.